Show me what you got, Ziomek. You made it here for a reason. You have been playing and finishing very well throughout 2021 in all these OSC events. Show us what you can do in the playoffs. He's been pretty consistent, to say the least. Anyway, we're going to be kicking off another PvP here on Curious Minds LE. We're in the top left-hand corner of the map, fighting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Denmark. Denmark! He is, of course, going to be representing Storm Gaming, PSG. Not to be confused with that other PSG. He is MaxPax.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Polish Protoss player representing Team Blazer. It is Ziomek. And hopefully Kuro in the chat can critique my pronunciation of this player's name and maybe help us out a little bit.
Well, I don't see any accents on the letters, so I think we're clear.
Yeah, I mean, she's said it before.
I think we're in the clear.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but I casted Kishinoko Open recently with Kuro, and that was full of Protoss players like Arts and Christiana, and I think Papi was missing. I think he was the only one that was missing, but Ziomek was there too.
Yeah, having vague memories of that. So I was only able to tune in towards the end there.
Yep, and so far everything is looking pretty standard. We didn't really get into it in our last PvP because it was a little bit different when it came to the vetoes and the maps, but here we are on Curious Minds, and on Curious Minds we may be seeing the most standard PvP so far because, you know, we see some pretty greedy openers here looking to go for those faster nexuses.
Yeah, I mean, are we really expecting out of the gate cheese 24/7 here from MaxPax and Ziomek? I expected at least once in this best of 5, but no need to reveal your hand before you have to.
Yeah, I mean, the first differentiating factor is here. Both players were forced to pump out Zealots, you know, because they didn't want to get Pylon blocked, they didn't want to get Cyber blocked, they wanted their Nexuses up and running as soon as possible. But MaxPax did immediately throw down that Stargate. This was scouted, by the way, by the probe of Ziomek.
Yeah, well, he's not really trying to hide it or anything. Skytoss is going to be a composition that he's going to stick with for at least a little bit in this game. It doesn't matter too much if Ziomek is where.
And I love this opener from MaxPax, you know, opting to go for, after the initial Zealot, into that Adept. Looks like he won't get into the main base, though. He does respect the army, and I love this. Sure, like, the Stalkers are getting a little bit distracted, they're getting pulled out of position, but Ziomek already has a shield battery in his main. Like, he's ready for that Oracle.
Yeah, I really don't see a single Oracle getting too many kills, but maybe 2.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Oh,
God. Me. Yeah, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. 2 Oracles will be able to out DPS that shield battery, so Ziomek has to be a little bit careful. The Adepts, they do pull away the Stalkers, and the Oracle comes in.
Just like that. 2 probes right off the bat with only a single Oracle. Second one's about to get in position pretty soon, and from there, MaxPax is still distracting Ziomek with this single Adept.
Oh my god, finally the Adept goes down. 2 workers did fall, and here we go, as you were saying, double Oracle straight into the main base.
Enough to start one-shotting these probes, enough that one of them can tank damage for the other. Very nice target firing coming out from MaxPax, and 7 probes! 9 in total will go down right at the start of the game. MaxPax with a very comfortable 10 worker lead.
Ah, Jesus Christ, that was so much damage done. A lot of this does come down to the fact that Ziomek never had a follow-up scout. He never threw down or started a sentry for hallucination, so he had no idea that we had a second Oracle in the way. It really caught him off guard, and I mean, that's why so much damage was dealt.
Even more damage to come, one would have to imagine, now that both Oracles are still alive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they can just dip in once again wherever they want. Ziomek doesn't have a shield battery at the natural, so it only takes one Oracle to really deal too much damage, and that's exactly what he does. He dips in.
And he dips out.
Oh god, and Blink is still not done, so Ziomek is having a hard time keeping up with all of these Oracles. 3 more probes go down. Eventually Blink will finish, and then Ziomek will have a much easier time, but it's still a ways away.
I think Ziomek might have a little bit of an opening here to try to, maybe cancel MaxPax's third base or get a handful of pro kills here and there, but it's a very, very, very narrow window.
Yeah, this is like kind of a 1-2 punch. Like, Ziomek's economy has been pretty crippled. Like, he still hasn't recovered from it. Now we have the Stalkers moving out once again. They pull Ziomek out of position, and this is when MaxPax wants to dive in with his Oracles.
Yeah, he knows that there's no way Ziomek would have enough minerals to get defenses up. He's just snowballing, really, from the earlier damage. And getting even that stasis ward is going to get so many probes!
Oh god, the stasis goes off, the Oracle dives into the natural base as well, and all at the same time, the main army of MaxPax is looking to deny that third.
No, he can't even cancel that.
No, Papi, please!
There's a lot of resources by this third base. Gathers enough Stalkers to chase this back, but now MaxPax is fighting on the high ground.
Oh my god, those Oracles have been insane this game, and they just keep on dipping in. Oh god, that X is getting so low!
Ziomek with his +1 weapons will win an engagement, but MaxPax doesn't have to stay in an engagement either. Those probes are not back to mining. No!
Yeah, more probes are falling here at the natural base. Oh my god, the stasis!
It's all of them, yeah.
Oh my god, the entire mineral line gets just completely held up. There's almost no mining going on right now.
I don't even want to look at the income graph right now, because I know it's just going to be one full line of red.
Yep. You're not wrong. Massive, deep in the red here. Massive economic lead for MaxPax. He's just been pulling Ziomek apart. Despite the fact that Ziomek, his Stalkers have a +1 advantage with their upgrades. Despite that, I was shocked. MaxPax was still out microing. He was still having better Blink Stalker control. Still out trading. And even though he couldn't overwhelm the army, he still just had enough to just pull him apart. Like, the Oracles are still alive. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, we're also, funnily enough, in an economic position, or Ziomek is at an economic position where even if he doesn't lose the engagement, losing 1 or 2 Stalkers will eventually lose him the entire map. Just like so, GG, MaxPax takes game number 1.
GG.
That was a rough start.
Yeah, like, game 1 of Paco Mike versus Art, like, that was pretty one-sided in a certain sense, just because the build. But here, game 1 of MaxPax versus Ziomek, like, MaxPax was just having his way with him. That was insane.
So one-sided for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
So game number 1 of Paco Mike versus Art was one-sided because Paco Mike just sort of ignored what was coming his way and very swiftly was punished for it. Game number 1 of Ziomek versus MaxPax, however, it was one-sided because MaxPax took a lead at the start.
Yeah.
And while Ziomek had a chance to recover, it was slim to none.
Yeah, like, I want to give Ziomek some credit. You know, when it came to the initial opening and what he scouted, he responded well to the Oracle opening. But again, he just wasn't expecting the double Oracle, and that double Oracle snowballed hard. Like, those were the MVPs of that game. Like, that was absolutely insane, just how much damage they dealt over the course of the entire game.
I don't even want to look at the workers lost in that game anymore. I'm glad that we got into the next lobby quickly. As we continue our series on 2,000 atmospheres LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have a red Protoss player playing all the way for the land of Denmark. He, if I'm not mistaken, is the top-rated non-Korean Protoss player on Ligulac right now. So, yeah, even further arguments as to why he's the favorite. He is MaxPax, representing PSG. Ziomek Gaming.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres ALE, we have the Polish Protoss player representing Team Blazer. Currently down in this series, but it's a best of 5 people. He's got a chance to come back. It is Ziomek.
Yeah, and I think everyone is hoping the series goes the difference. I, as well, am, if for no other reason than I want to familiarize myself a lot more with Ziomek.
Yeah, definitely. As do I. He's a player that we don't get to cast too often here on the CranKy Ducklings. MaxPax a little bit more. MaxPax sometimes goes full degen and shows up for ESL Open Cups, whether they're Asia or America.
I believe there was a single week where he played in ESL Asia, took a 2 or 3 hour nap or something like that, played in ESL EU, and got very far in that bracket, and then just stayed up to play for ESL NA.
Yeah.
And I believe he actually ended up winning ESL Open Cup NA that week too.
Yeah.
That was insane.
He's a very passionate player, very passionate, and he's been committing a lot to the game, and it goes to show in his play. There are definitely strong arguments to be made that MaxPax is the best Protoss player in Europe. You were talking about Ligulac. Obviously, the big dog to beat in Europe is Showtime. You know, Showtime has been the best for many, many years. But MaxPax is kind of the next generation of players. You know, he's like the Raynor or the Clem of Protoss in a way. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. Or you could argue that he is there, to be honest. I mean,
well, I would say he's there in terms of skill, right? But we're just waiting for that big tournament finish from MaxPax, which is more than doable in my mind.
We're waiting for the results. Definitely for the results.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm pretty sure there's been times where, to be fair, it's a matchup that Clem hates, but I think MaxPax has beaten Clem before.
Oh, he definitely has in PvT.
Yeah, to be fair. TVP, hashtag unwinnable, you know, Protoss tools and all that good stuff. But we'll see, because this is a ZVZ, you know, maybe Ziomek can make something happen. Interestingly enough, though, MaxPax is opening up with a Void Ray.
PvP?
Yeah, so MaxPax, he's been very active here with his probe, and he keeps confirming that there's no natural base. One base play is coming out, so MaxPax needs to make use of his tech buildings, and he needs Void Rays now to defend.
Thankfully, he is getting them, as we see a double gateway being thrown out, proxy being thrown down for Ziomek.
Yeah, 4 gate.
Is absolutely devastating. I mean, even if it can be absolutely devastating even against a player with Void Rays, right? As long as, you know, the Void Ray is a pixel too far away from the shield battery, or doesn't have enough of a buffer of Stalkers.
Yeah, definitely.
Do not underestimate the burst damage from Stalkers.
Yeah. I mean, again, when it comes to the openers, we were a little bit distracted talking a little bit about the players, but MaxPax with this pylon confirms that, again, it is still one base, so he's still making nothing but army. He has 2 shield batteries. I love this. He's getting some stack defense in his main base, just in case Ziomek decides or blinks into the main.
Which is a very real possibility right now, as Blink is about to finish up. Still lacking a little bit of that high ground vision, but that's what the sentry is here to do.
Oh yeah, he's getting ready to Haluk and just dive straight into that main base. Void Rays are out of position, but again, MaxPax does have a patrolling probe to make sure he has eyes on that, and so he can respond.
And the shield batteries are already finishing up by that main base, so yeah, these warriors are going to have a little bit of time, or a little bit of ground to travel. Air to travel, I suppose, but so will the Stalkers.
Definitely, definitely. What's important to note is that the Stalker count is getting to critical mass to the point where they can start two-shotting Void Ray, so it doesn't matter about your shield battery or your overcharge, they can still deal some damage. Meanwhile, they do get into the main base, they do target down the cannon. Up! And the Voids!
Are starting to get two-shot despite the battery overcharge. The probes try to act as a little bit of a buffer. Micro is there for MaxPax, and I think he has survived long enough to start cleaning out all these stalkers. It was so important that the shield battery did not go down. I don't know how it survived.
Yeah.
Ziomek just retargeted at the wrong second, unfortunately.
Exactly. I thought the shield battery was dead. We saw Ziomek target down and one-shot the cannon, and then the overcharge happened, but he didn't target down the shield battery, and because of that, the overcharge put in a lot of work, kept the majority of the Void Rays alive, and GG!
GG, man. Very well defended here from MaxPax, but that is a play that, well, that is a game that I think Ziomek is going to look back to and just think, man, if only I didn't retarget at that moment. That's a very painful misclick.
Yeah, like, to be fair, like, I understand, right? Like, he was two-shotting Void Rays, and he did kill, I think, 2, maybe 3 Void Rays. But because he was losing Stalkers as that was happening, over time, his burst damage was getting weaker and weaker, and the fact that he didn't deny that overcharge was hurting him more and more. Like, it was a choice that he made, and it was arguably the wrong one.
Well, in the heat of the moment, it's always tough to make these calls, and now I'm starting to get pretty worried for him.
Yeah, there was a lot of potential with that all-in, and again, like, the fact that, that he was able to blink into the main base, and like, the Void Rays were out of position for a couple of seconds, like, it was looking really good for him, but, he just barely couldn't pull it off. Again, shout out to MaxPax for recognizing what was coming his way and taking it very seriously.
He had a lot of time to prepare, and he did not squander a single second of that. Even getting that shield battery in the main very, very early on, just in case. There was a blink, and guess what? There was a blink.
Yeah, there was.
Preparation pays off.
Yeah, there are some players who kind of cut corners a little bit in the defense. They want to be a little bit greedy. They want to defend with as little as possible, and then maybe sneak out a third base or sneak out some tech. But nah, MaxPax, you want to be safe and secure. And with that, we are getting in to game number 3.
Hopefully not the last one, but we're getting into Blackburn, so I expect a little bit more nonsense on this map, shall we say.
Also, what is Geya saying in the he's like, if Ziomek wins this series, I'll eat my lunch. He doesn't want to eat? What? What are you saying? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a condition. Otherwise, he'll eat breakfast.
Oh god.
As we continue our series now on Blackburn LE. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a red Protoss player coming down from the land of Denmark. He only needs one more map win to advance and face Art in the next round. He is representing Storm Gaming PSG. No soccer, he is MaxPax.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Polish Protoss player. He is blue, representing Team Blazer. It is Ziomek.
I'm hoping this game goes long enough that at least we see one player take the gold.
Yeah.
That may be too much to ask, but a man can dream.
The dream, mate. The dream. Unfortunately, the gold isn't as tempting as a Protoss player in PvP, so unless I guess you're going for a charge all-in question mark, but again, that's more common in the other matchups. So yeah, it feels bad, man. We probably won't see the gold bases.
Just let me have my fantasies. We're gonna get a long macro game coming out here. Both players gonna take their gold bases. You're gonna have a lot of harass with war prisms and oracles and back and forth. That's what I'm hoping for.
Definitely. But speaking of, this tournament, since we are getting into this game and so far everything is pretty standard as we would expect, I do see oh god, A genetics. Is it A genetics?
Janet?
That's
Janet? Genetics.
I do see
Genetics.
I do see people asking in the chat about the tournament, and yes, this is the OSC World Championship. If you're wondering, OSC, they are partnered with a lot of online events, and
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them, and
At
over
this point.
over the course of 2021, players have been accumulating points, just like ESL Pro Tour. And this is the championship. We've invited all the best performing players of the year, and they are here. That is why you are missing some players that you would typically see, because they're not necessarily active in the online tournament scene.
Which is nice, We don't need to have the same handful of players winning everything.
Yeah, this is kind of promoting the players who take that extra step to compete in all the online weekly tournaments, not just ESL Pro Tours, for example, which is what a lot of the more top-tier players focus on.
But speaking of focus, this pylon is starting to get focused down. Thankfully, Ziomek is able to reposition in time to not lose all of his production and not have warp gate delayed.
Yeah, exactly. At least the Stalker and Zella were able to reposition, and in the end, Ziomek will hold on. At the same time, MaxPax once again opened up with a Stargate. Oracle is head towards the main base, but just like game number 1, Ziomek is ready, at least for one Oracle.
Oh, what about Stasis Ward?
Oh god, react, please, react! Ah!
Okay. Only two probes will get caught this time. Much better reaction. It's warmed up now.
Yeah, exactly. And you could argue maybe that was wasted resources, wasted energy there for that Oracle. Meanwhile, that pylon is getting pretty low. Ziomek has to be careful about that. Second Oracle is about to meet up with the first. And are there going to be enough Stalkers to defend? That pylon is still exposed.
Well, at least warp gate will finish up, right? Right? Right?
Oh god, it's gonna be close.
It will, but it might not even matter because all of these probes are gonna go down and
Mate, he's gonna get it. No.
Yeah, that pylon anyway. Oh no.
And both Oracles survive.
Both Oracles survive. They get 7 probe kills behind all of that. It's basically 0 army production right now for Ziomek.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, Ziomek, he was too busy chasing those Oracles around again. To be fair, he did have a shield battery at his natural base, but he just didn't have enough to really deal with 2 Oracles. And again, it wasn't the biggest of deals, but it does delay his production and a decent blow to his economy as well.
Yeah, not too far behind, but in a mirror matchup like this, MaxPax is going to take full advantage of Snowball from here. His 3rd Nexus already almost halfway done. It's going to be rolling in the dough by the time Ziomek's ready to be on the map. See,
this is where the Chad move, oh my god, as we had a little bit of an avoidance of potentially stasis there. At least he was trying to avoid one that never was there. This is where the Chad
in his head.
The Chad move would have been the gold. Let's be real here if you're MaxPax, right? Come on, mate. Come on.
You know you're hunted.
Oh god. Unfortunately, it is not there. So Ziomek is down when it comes to the economy, when it comes to his workers, when it comes to his 3rd base timing. He will have +1, and again, this is something that he's been rushing out game after game, but it's never really come into play for him.
Yeah. I mean, I get getting +1 as a bit of a, it's a bit of a way to try to mitigate the fact that you will be outnumbered, but at a certain point, you just get so outnumbered that upgrades aren't really going to matter that much. Ziomek is very heavily supply blocked.
Exactly. This is reminding me so much of game number 1. It isn't as devastating as game 1, but right now, MaxPax, he's just containing Ziomek to 2 bases, so even though Ziomek does have the upgrade advantage, MaxPax will overwhelm him just in sheer numbers.
Like so.
Oh my god,
he's about to get taken out. I mean, they don't have enough energy anyway.
Yeah.
And I was hoping we get a longer series here. I was hoping we get to see a lot more of Ziomek, but MaxPax, He is the favorite for a reason.
He really is. He comes on in and he doesn't hold back. Finally, an Oracle dies this series. It happens. But the production is again depowered. GG gets called and MaxPax takes it with a clean 3-0.
Preventing our Polish derby here.
Wow.
But again, just a very clean, convincing showing here from MaxPax.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think Ziomek was doing too much wrong there. Again, it's just unfortunate he had to face MaxPax this early on. This makes me excited to see much more of him 2022.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, you could argue that for MaxPax, like, he's already broken out and he's already, all eyes are already on him. But Ziomek is one of the many Protoss players in Europe that are kind of rising up. They're on the brink. They still have a long way to go, to be fair. But they're there. They're putting in the hours. They're competing in all these weekly tournaments. That's why he's here. Well, that's why he was here.
I think that's a big thing to really highlight here of all of our players here in the OSC Championship. They're putting in the hours. I mean, they wouldn't be in the championship if they weren't week after week after week playing, competing, and placing fairly highly in all of these OSC events. And I mean, it's kind of hard not to, if you're finishing consistently in any online tournament nowadays, it's hard not to get OSC points, because again, OSC has broken out from, only hosting a couple of their own events, having invitationals, to basically taking over the world.
Yeah, the Storm Cups, Conquer the Walks from Chicken Man. I believe even some or most of Wardy's tournaments that he casts or that he hosts also provide OSC points. Again, Wardy and OSC go back a long way. That's why Wardy was casting earlier as well. They have worked together many times. So yeah, plenty of tournaments out there, and these players are the ones that put in the most work. But that's why we're here to find out who's going to be the best of them, because we just saw two Protoss players dominate in their respective series, and now they're going to face off.